Can I hear from a parent or two? You can raise your hand. Good morning, Silas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Silas. Let me hear from one more parent, and if you can try to relate it with our lesson today. What do you see? One more parent, please. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Eva. Yeah, so we have a tree. We have a tree that's staked. There are stakes that have been used to support it. Allow me to get that up. We also have a tree to my left, the left of my screen, that is bent. It's grown. It's fully grown. It's even fruiting. It's got beautiful flowers, but it's bent. And probably it would be very difficult to fix that tree and fix it. Even if we added sticks at this point, it does look like it's too late. And then we have in the middle a picture that's showing a lot of focus and support that has gone into making sure that the trees stand upright. And of course, towards the third photo, we see one that is young, that is still trying to get back into shape. So this is the reason why we engage. Because if we were to look at our children like these trees, you know, we have a chance to build strong children, strong adolescents now. The chance is now. If we fail to take advantage of the time and the opportunity, we might end up with picture number one, where it will be very difficult to build, to fix something broken already, something bent already. And so the onus is on us as parents. I want to give you some assignments. Today is a very interactive session, so it's not just going to be me talking. I'm going to give you an assignment. We're going to share a link on the chat, and I want you to click on that link from wherever you are, and then we're going to take you through some questions that I want you to answer as honestly as you can. The very first thing that comes to mind, don't think about it too much. So that we also move fast. We have about 12 questions, and I would like us to interact with all of them. So you're going to click on the link. It's on your chat right now. Somebody also said the tree with support looks stronger and straight. Thank you for that response, and that is true. When we support our children, they will grow stronger and they will be straight. So click on the link that has been sent to you, and I hope we are all there. We're going to do those questions, and I hope that we can, on the screen, we can be able to actually see what we think as parents. It will be so beautiful to just see question one. What do we all think? Where is the majority falling? So please participate. I hope we are all settled in a way that we can participate in that. Are we there? Anybody having a problem with their link? Have we been able to click the link? It's a menti.com link, so we call it a Mentimeter. and the code that you're to use has been shared. 369-329-19. The Menti link is not yet visible. We're sorting that for you right away. I've just shared it, so you can try and click on that. Are we there? Oh, some of us are already on it. I see we are feeling grateful, great, thankful, splendid, expectant. Thank you for your response. Shall we go to the second question? The most valuable gift as a parent I can give to my child is it self-respect, love, discipline, quality time, discipline or quality time? You can just take the number. Just click on it. I need to see some responses already. I see self-respect. I see from experimenting with drugs is, just pick one of those. Just pick one of those. I love the voting, and I have answers to in every but looks like most parents think we should provide security of a loving, well-adjusted family life. Thank you for that. Let's go to the next question, number 4. On average, how much time a week do you spend communicating with your child one-on-one without devices, interruptions? Be as honest as you can. Okay. We seem to say it's 1 hour, half an hour to 1 hour. We have parents who say more than an hour. A few of us do 10 minutes or less. Do 10 minutes or less. And some are 11 to 30 minutes. Thank you so much for your feedback. Let's go to the next question. Not right, what it could actually lead to. So just vote. I can see people thinking. Awesome. So we have people saying it can cause reading problems, others hyperactivity, others running away and vandalizing property. And a number of things actually all the above. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. Thank you for your answers. What's the best way of handling sibling rivalry? I'm sure some of us have probably more than one child. So we have seen this play at play. Let's vote. Are we voting? I'm waiting for your answers. Great. We have a chart, a pie chart there. Let me see. Majority. Listen to both sides before punishing. A few think that we should let the children settle their disputes. And others think we need to love the children equally. And nobody thinks we should protect anybody. All right. Let's go to the next question, number 7. We're almost done. Parents tend to blame themselves for their child's behavior, and rightly so, because the outcome of a child is mostly dependent on, give me a vote. Have we voted? I hope people can see what I'm seeing. It's really interesting. So parental example and environment, they stand out. And heredity is the least considered. A few people think it's an individual temperament type and how parents relate to it. Great. Number 8. To instill pure character traits in a child, a parent must develop what? That's what? I'm waiting for those responses. So I have moral excellence standing out. A few think pleasant disposition and individuality. Nobody thinks it's about talent or genius or pleasing personalities, but moral excellence. Thank you. Responsible behavior and better habits can best be accomplished through Have you voted? Many parents think parental example and a loving home. A few think consistent rules. Some believe natural consequences. And a small number thinks it's rewarding positive behavior. You can see how our perspectives are really playing out. Data. Let's go to number 10. The best way of controlling a 17-year-old's choice of questionable peers is to Let's vote quickly. We have 2 more questions to look at. You might think all of them apply, but I want you to pick the one thing that you think is most critical. So we have parents thinking, invite them to your home. Then quite a number think forbid the association. Others restrict privileges, but nobody thinks I should move away from the questionable peers. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's look at number 11. If my 15-year-old failed to clean his room and accept responsibility for common household tasks, what would I do as a parent? That's what? I have my votes in. If you haven't voted, please do. Don't think about it too much. So majority of parents are thinking, try to motivate him through a contract system that manipulates privileges. And then almost equal number of parents think I send a nice statement about my feelings or allow natural consequences to take over. So these ones are the parents who say, asiyefunzwa na mamake atafunzwa na ulimwengu. Nobody thinks they should clean the room and do chores for a 15-year-old. And I like that. All right, we're going to look at the last question. If your child frequently cried because the other children at school didn't like him, what would you do? We probably have seen this with some of our children. Send your votes in. Still waiting for a couple more. Okay. So majority think spend more time with him. An equal number thinks we should help him find a special talent or a compensating skill, and others think talk with his teacher about it, but nobody thinks they should talk to his friends about it. Thank you so much. That's the end of our questions. It's something I want you to think about even as we go along, as we talk about engagement. And I also hope that we'll be able to ask ourselves, why was another parent thinking differently? Or where is the difference coming in? It could be because of the age of children you're raising. It could be because of your orientation as a parent. All that could come into play. But let me hear from a few parents. I know that we are projecting the results, the bars that were showing on the screen. Did anything stand out for you? Did you find it interesting? Anything interesting? Please talk to me. But let me have one or two parents talk to me. Would you put up your hand if you want to say something? Don't go quiet on me, parents. We are engaging, so I need someone to talk to us. One parent? Anything that stood out for you? with those questions, with the responses from us. Yes, Agnes, we can hear you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much, Agnes. So Agnes is bringing to us two things. That our children and all of us are a product of, one, our environment, and which is the nature, the nature, and then the nature is who we are, our genes, where we are coming from, who gave birth to us, all that is influencing us. But as children come to school, you find their sphere becomes broader and wider. And so you're not the only voice, you're not the only influence. There's a teacher now, there's a friend up here, there's a community, there are authorities, and all these are shaping that child. Our responses to all that is what is really important as parents. Yeah, so allow me to, we will go along, discover answers to, what our questions were leading us to as we go along with the engagement. But I would like to pose another question to you. A child has two primary needs, every child. And I want you to engage me on the charts and tell me what you think, just one word. Two critical primary needs that you think your child has, every child. Yeah. Before I can reveal to you what they are. What do you think are the two primary needs of your child? I'm waiting for answers on the charts. Sense of belonging and love, affirmation, food and love. I like these answers. Keep them coming. Security, need for love and affirmation, love and security. I see people who are very familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Security, safety needs, faith, just to be loved and secure, love and safety. So I hear a lot of love and security. Parental guidance is critical, love and safety. Thank you so much. I love you parents, because you're talking engagement here, and once you engage me, I like it. The two most primary needs of a child, when in psychology we say are two. One is feeling valued. I'm important, I have purpose. I am accepted unconditionally. I am affirmed. Regardless of my behavior, I am valued. That child develops self-respect. Then there is security, the second need. And security has to do with parents who set very clear boundaries for children. So there are rules, and they're clearly communicated, and the children know them, they are not abstract, and then they're being enforced consistently. So those are two critical needs for children. And I think love, affirmation, security, all that we were speaking about, these two things, significance and security. There is a bunch of kids who are in kindergarten, who are actually put in a field. They used to play in a field that was very secured with fencing and everything. And somebody was doing research, and so they decided, let's remove the security walls, like just leave kids in an open field, like just remove the walling that would protect the children when they were playing. And what happened is all the children came that morning to school and just huddled somewhere in the center of the playground. They did not, nobody tried to wander away. And the whole thing about a child's security, you know, how secure children want to feel, is so important. So significance and security are two words that I wanted to take with you and not to forget. I know we have some people who are logged in on YouTube, and I'll try to see if we have any response from your end as we go along. Yeah, so two words, two keywords. If you forget everything we say today, please remember significance and security are primary needs for your child. Now let's look at where we are as parents. I told you we're going to look at ourselves and see what is going on in our generation. What's really happening? The way my mother raised me and the way I'm raising my child, is it the same? It's so, so different. And one of the things that is happening is we are parenting in a digital age. So of course we know there's information overload, media influence is big. We are talking about an era of indulgence where children are indulging in, if it's internet use and things, even food right now is a big deal about indulgence. There are two writers that I have come across lately that really interested me. One is a guy called Jonathan Haidt, who wrote a book called The Anxious Generation. And if you listen to his ideas and the theories that he's bringing across, you realize actually we have anxiety and depression at a heightened level more than any other generation. Then we have The Dopamine Nation by Anna Lembeck. She talks about how everything around our children in our generation has to do with addiction. So if it's food, you know, if it's interaction with the media, whatever it is that is hitting at them, it's supposed like to get them to use it more and more. So she wrote a book called The Dopamine Nation and explored different types of addictions that are there. It's a book I would recommend for us as parents. We also know another fact that education is central for our children because we want them to grow socially and intellectually. We also know that the education sector has continued to evolve. Right now, even in the country, we are talking about a society that you find play into the education sector, and it has to evolve. These changes, a lot of times, come in a very subtle way. I remember when my last born was in kindergarten. Actually, not kindergarten. He was in a grade called EC3. So elementary class, like early childhood 3. That meant he was like between 3 and 4 years. He brought a book home. Of course, he couldn't read much, but he was in a school that really encouraged reading. And reading is a very good culture. And at Wood Creek, I know that is something that is constantly being emphasized. So my child brings a pictorial book, a small book, and it was about family. So we would read with him, you know, explain, talk about it. And this book, we went from, you know, a family of mother, dad, no children, and then mother, dad, and child, and then with aunties, and she kept expanding to with grandchildren, grandparents, and then with aunties and uncles, and then step families and blended families. So it was just pictures. And then the last photo was a picture of two parents of the same gender with a child. And then a picture of two parents without a child, and it's still a family. And this is a child who is 3 years to 4 years, but that has already been put in the library. I also read of a case, I think in the US in Virginia, of a parent who went to court to accuse a little bit on the far side for children in regard to sex education. And she lost the case in court because the court ruled in favor of whatever was in the libraries. So I'm talking about the education sector evolving, cultural swings that are coming in through, sometimes in very subtle ways, but change is happening either way. And we have to be very engaged as parents. I've seen parents, those are the times that we are living in. It's also a fact that our children are spending very many hours at school, 6 to 7 hours on average in a day. And you can imagine in a week. And so your window as a parent is basically before they go to school in the morning, and when they peers and other family members, another interest that your child has. There are clubs, there are activities after school that your children engages in. So your window as a parent is really small. It's also closing in fast because after age 14, there is, your child's character and personality is completely formed and developed. So there is need to engage as parents. The other thing that we can confess is happening is that the family front is evolving. So we have 2 working parents, mostly in a lot of families. We have traveling parents who have to be out of the country or out of the town, out of the home because of work reasons or business reasons. We have more single family units now, where we have a single dad with children or a single mom who is raising her children or child. We have co-parenting suddenly enter the scene, where we have parents who one is away and the other one is with a child, for fragmentation in the family. And of course, separation and divorce are real issues that we are dealing with. Then there is the disempowered boy child and the empowered girl child and the dynamics that are coming into play. All this child is growing up. This is what is really happening. So there are unique challenges for us as parents, from negative media influence to overcommitment with work or busyness of whatever, financial pressures, especially at such a time when the nation is where it is economically, elusive work balance, work-life balance. We have heard a lot and seen it on the media, even as early as last night, the president talking about substance use and alcohol dens and all these things, and it's across the country. And then we have mental health challenges, depression and anxiety and suicidal tendencies and things that we are dealing with, and a widening generational gap, where I met a young man the other day. He was intoxicated, and I got talking to him, and he was using a lot of sheng. And at one point I was like, oh, what did you say? And he said, do you understand sheng? So you can see the generational gap widening, even as we look at, this is Gen Z, this is Generation Alpha, this is Gen X, this is Gen Y, millennials. We have all these things, and each generation has its unique aspects. So the truth that remains is that a parent is a child's greatest influence. And there is no practical way for you to know everything happening at school, but we do have a chance to make a positive difference as we support our children in their educational journey. So let's go on. With those facts, we know urbanization is here. Our children are having less outdoor life, more indoors. There are social challenges, gated communities, social groups are less. You hardly ever see children being brought into social gatherings of adults. And there's also a lot of loneliness and isolation that's happening. And my point is, amidst all this, we need to remember how the village looked like when we were growing up and try to bring back the village into the situation. The village it means that I, as a parent in Wood Creek, you as a parent in Wood Creek, our children in Wood Creek and elsewhere, we are all responsible to ensure that the right thing is happening around them. Somebody called Pelt, Nancy Van Pelt, wrote a book on training up a child, and she said that the real failure of families today is overcommitment. So we are taking in too much work, school, we are going back to school for other degrees and other PhD programs, a lot of hobbies people are pursuing, and it's a good thing. Clubs and communities, people are living on a fast lane. But we must remember that amidst all that, our children have needs. One is significance, and another is security. So yeah, the parenting scene today is definitely different from what we are used to. And I want us to see how we can engage better as parents. So that's the question that I want us to ask ourselves. How can we engage amidst all that that is going on? So we have a role as parents. And it should be, we need to realize that the role between a dad, a mom, or the people that are raising that child, some are guardians. The parties that are involved, the stakeholders that are there, it's a complementary role. We are not competing. But being a good parent will take hard work and quality time. I also saw that when we asked about the needs, the primary needs of children, some people said quality time. And I add quantity time, not just quality, but quantity time. Most of us are parenting children during midlife. Midlife now has dropped even all the way to like 35 years. So some people are raising their children while they're in midlife. It has its unique issues and aspects and challenges also. But the greatest need of your child is to see a parent who loves him. Two parents who love each other are even, a greater display of a soundness in the family that a child needs. And a child doesn't need things so much as they need us as parents. You've probably noticed when you ask your children, what do you want for your birthday? You're thinking a big thing, but a child just says something very simple, or maybe just wants to stay home with you guys. So a child does not need things as much as they need you. But a sense of belonging, closeness in the family, you showing them responsibility and instilling values and character, that's what makes children feel I'm in a secure family. A warm, affectionate home where they know I can bring my friends and they are received well. I am feeling at home, I am allowed to be myself. But disengaged parenting, this one always brings burdens to both the family, the child, and society. And so that's why we need to avoid extremes as parents. Whether we are loving them or punishing them, we need a balance so that we engage in the right way to help our children. Some of the things that our children need are really in the little things. We shouldn't think very big. My child, I have a son who is about to turn 13, and I've asked him constantly, how would you want to spend your day? Do you want to have friends over? What do you want to do? And he's simply like, I really don't need anything. And it's interesting when I watch how he relates with his dad. And I want to say something about fatherhood, that it's really in the little things. And the question that I am posing on your screen is, how rich would you be if you were to receive 1,000 shillings for every behavior you practiced during the past week? Like, did you greet your child with a smile or a hug when you came home? If we were to give you 1,000, are you poor or rich? Have you admired something aloud for your child that he did with his hands and you actually acknowledged it? Or you complimented them on work well done? Can we give you money for last week, this week? Have you praised your child's efforts at school? Probably tried to have an unhurried talk with him? Have you played with your child after work? Have you taken your child to church, gone with them together? Have you worked alongside them to complete some tasks, whether it's stuff at home or their own tasks? Have you listened to your child tell a story without you interrupting or trying to tell them how much you know? Have you taught them courteous words like, please, thank you, excuse me? How rich would you be if we were to pay you for asking permission to use your child's things? Maybe even a little of their savings, like, can you lend me that? I export my child to an opportunity to learn good music or an extracurricular activity, or to use a tool, equipment, or to make a meal, to prepare a dish. Have you talked with your child about sex and reproduction in an appropriate way for age? Have you showed respect and love to their mother? That's another way, as a dad. Little things that really tell a child, I am your provider, I lead the way, I offer security, I give you identity, I protect you, I am affirming you, I love you. Significance and security. Let's look at mummies. Maybe like what would be their role? So we all know as a mother, it's my role to provide emotional support, security, comfort a child. Usually you'll notice when a child is hurt or wounded, it is the mother that they run to. Am I teaching, deliberately opening my mouth to train, to instruct? Or am I too tired to do that? Am I affirming, loving, allowing my son to be a man? Not just keeping him hanging around me, but allowing him to find himself and discover himself. That's our role as mothers. So if you are a mother and you are to pay you 1,000 shillings for this week for just something you did, like you smiled at your child, even when you were tired, or you read them a story, or you tucked them into bed, you didn't just watch them go away and go to sleep, and you were there. You give them a hug, You reminded them of God's love for them. You allowed them to do some chore to help with something instead of, let me finish this, get out of here, you're bothering me, get out of the kitchen. Cleaning cars or cutting grass or whatever it is. Have you thanked your child for helping you? Do you recall a moment when you gave attention to them being courteous and you actually acknowledged it? Or thanked them for not interrupting when you are talking? Because then you're teaching. Have you encouraged them to be together as a family? Probably planned something as a family that you could do together. Disciplined them in love even when you're angry, instead of shouting and yelling. Or made mealtime fun and nutritious. Showed respect for their belongings, their journals, their diaries. Giving them privilege to make a decision. Instead of you making the decision for them, you're allowing them to make that decision. Or just being home so that when they come from school, they find you. And showing love and respect for their father when there is a dad in that space. So these are small things that I have discovered. For children, it's so little, such little things. And I took time to talk to children. When I was given this topic, I actually went around with some kids and I would be like, by the way, what would you tell your parents? If we gave you a platform to talk to us, what would you say? And parents, there is a screen I have of the kind of feedback that I got from children. I got a lot. Some of it I had to deal with parents themselves because some things were really personal. But one child said, times have changed. Please remember how much you have to sacrifice for school, the huge workload to meet the teacher's demand. That was an 8th grader. And then another child said, I need to arrive to school early because I usually have unfinished work. And since most of the work is research, I need a better phone. So this tells you there's a parent somewhere, the child wants to come to school on time, but a parent somewhere is not meeting that need. And it is expressed as an expressed need. Another one says, give students time to adjust, support them during change. If I change school, support me. This is to teachers and parents. And then another one says, parents should learn to believe their child more than their teacher. That almost made me laugh. We're talking collaboration and engagement here, so that makes us a team. And then there is this 10th grader who said, be a pillar, support your children. They're experiencing enough pressure just by the sheer pressure they put on themselves. So what they need is your reassurance and support as a parent. Remind your child you're proud of them because they yearn to hear those words from their parents. Support your child, expand their interest, and on and on. So it's interesting that children are talking. And so I want us to see in the next couple of minutes how we can engage with these children. One, through consistently getting involved, being available, supporting them, creating space to converse with them about different topics, even difficult things. If you volunteer, even if serving at school or community or wherever, you are engaging with them and you involve them, then you're helping. If you meaningfully connect with the school, you're definitely making an impact in their future learning and success. So that is one way we can engage. The next way is through healthy connections. So it's important to socialize children. Let them meet older people. Let them have mentors and instructors, role models that are positive in their lives. Let them engage with their own parents, their grandparents, with, in a quality time kind of thing. Because you will realize that there are conversations that come up that build these people. This is how they observe how people do things, and they believe in them. Healthy connections can also come through you just being prayerful about the school they are in, praying for the students, the teachers. You are helping your child develop connections with that school. You can partner with other parents. Like our children are going now, they want to go to Karura for a walk. But, you get involved in a positive way to build and to grow them. That's another way to build healthy connections. The other way that I want us to learn to engage is through supporting our children's interest. And we have seen a child saying, support my interests. If there is a committee or an association your child is vying for, support them, encourage them, let them know that they are actually capable of that. Let them know how proud you are that they're even thinking like that. Teach them that independence and autonomy. Help them realize there are opportunities at school, what resources are available, how they can tap from that. They have unique abilities, let them know that they can bring them out. I've seen parents, and I really love the parents of today because they really try to support children, other interests. You'll see kids in after-school activities, learning music, learning an instrument, going for soccer, football matches, and things like those. All those are great things to support our children's interest. But as we support their interest, we need to avoid helicopter parenting, where we are over-involving ourselves in their work, because that disempowers them. So it's good to allow your child to blaze their own trail, even those who are at senior level who are probably choosing a career. Some of us missed a career, longed to do a career, and we are thinking, I will impose it on them. I think it's good to allow your child to just pursue their own path while you guide as a parent. I want to say that academic excellence should be pursued at every cost, but it's not the only achievement measure for your child. So if they don't do so well, the best way is to find out how can I support you to do better, but not to condemn or to make them feel like they are lesser or like your love went less because they perform. This one I cannot emphasize more. I've written a book called Pointing Children to Christ. It is really important that we build the faith of our children, that we point them to God. And the best way to do that is through modeling it personally. So I'm going to tell my child to follow Christ if I am not following him, because they will not understand what that means. A school like this that has been very, open about we are a Christian school, that's a beautiful thing. And that means God takes the center stage. The school runs by his design. The family runs by his design. It starts with us as teachers, as parents. We cannot impart to our children that which we do not possess. So we need to be people who point them to Christ, pray over our children, pray for them to be people who are wise, full of wisdom and peace and comfort for their friends, self-control, these kind of things, and dedicate them to God in any way that you can. There's a verse that I love in Proverbs 22:6 that says, dedicate your children to God, point them in the way they should go, then the values they learn from you will be with them for life. And that is an assurance if we point them in the right direction. Then there is deliberate instruction. I'm talking of ways of engaging. Deliberate instruction. What does this mean? That I am taking time to teach. I'm opening my mouth to teach. I'm spending time to show. I tell, I show, then I let. That's what it means. Whether it's on moral excellence, what does that look like? We had a question about what should we teach our children if we want them to be well adjusted. Moral excellence, because that is shaping character. How do you show honor? How do you submit to authorities? How do you make wise choices about how to spend money, your time, choose friends, honesty and integrity, accountability, who are you accountable to, kindness in dealing with others, self-discipline, whether it's how they sleep, what they eat, how they eat, this kind of. And one thing that I keep emphasizing about teaching children, teach children to suffer well, because suffering is part of life. Life is like a railroad where good and bad will always walk together. And so a child needs to learn that there is also a harsh side of life, and I need to cultivate resilience. I need to be strong enough to be able to deal with this. And then work ethic. That my work, my dad's work, what my mom does, is a calling. Yes, there is an income, which is a reward, but first of all, over all things, first, work is about purpose, and our children need to understand that. Boundary setting, I can't emphasize this more, where we are setting limits that are clear for them, and then consistently reinforcing those boundaries. Whether it's about friends, who they hang out with, how they speak, how they conduct themselves, dressing, how even their grooming, like their own hair, the sources of entertainment they are looking at, and their hearts, toxic relationships, how do you leave one? How do you separate yourself from a friend that is toxic, and the kind of friends that you should have? So these are lessons we should teach very consistently and every day so that they become part of a child's character. The other thing that we need to do as parents is to stop rescuing our children. Rescuing means I come and step in. I take over. I am assisting them too much. I'll take it over from here, you sit. Whether it's they were trying to do something, chop the carrots, or wash that car, or something, they're taking too long. This taking over is not helping them. We are disempowering them. And so we need to allow them to experience the hardship, cultivating these skills in them, problem solving, resilience, dealing with difficult things. They can develop into competent adults that we shall be happy with. There's somebody who said, Confucius, who said that if you think in terms of a year, you can plant a seed. But if you think in terms of 10 years, you can plant trees. However, if you're thinking 100 years, that's generational thinking, then teach the people. This is the power of teaching. Tell the child something, show them how to do it, how to make that bed, how to fix that car, how to fix that computer, then let them. So it came up in our chats that we are to be, and a child who is accepted at home does not suffer rejection and self-esteem issues. It's a child who is confident, and a child who is unconditional, who are free to explore themselves. They're not afraid to become whoever that they are. And then there's verbal intelligence, which is something we use in affirming. We use words. Words are power of children. How are we saying it? What tone are we using? What volume are you applying when you're correcting? We should correct in kindness and wisdom as well, or when you're not happy with something, so that we don't allow our words to go high when we are not happy, but we can still maintain a tone that does not break the spirit of the child. The other thing is social comparisons that are going on in our generation, which can easily destroy their spirit. So we need to stop comparing children with another, either in the house, a sibling, or a cousin, or a friend. That should stop, because it breaks the spirit of a child. And then I would like us to engage our children through just teaching them integrity, honesty, where I am open with my struggles. My life is not perfect as a parent, and my child needs to know that. So honesty should be a core value in the family, and they need to understand that. If I make a promise to a child, I need to keep that promise. I need to work to show that honesty in my behavior. You know, I need to admit when I am wronged by them, so that they learn that it's okay to express when somebody has wronged me. And I need to embrace the person that I am, my faults, my strengths, and make amends where I need to. That way I'm teaching my child, because as we will go along to understand about modeling, you will realize that values are caught more than taught. So we are to engage our children also in responsible use of technology. This is huge in our time. Social media, kids are becoming couch potatoes, just sitting there with their different gadgets. And we do need to train them and train the people who are caregivers in their lives to also guide them in an appropriate way. I've seen families that have no phones policy at the dining table, no phones policy in the car, you know, just to help, or in the bedroom, so that you help these children to have self-control. And if you want unhurried time with your child, some of these things just have to take a second place. Your phone can be far. You don't have to answer it when you have that constructive time with them. Of course, there is protection from bad content or overusing, or social isolation, where your child just wants to be indoors with their device and gadget, but more of being part of what they are doing. Sometimes even joining them as parents when they are doing that PlayStation game, you getting to know how it's done, having fun and laughing about your mistakes with them. So, and then finding teachable moments while you're doing that. I came across some red flags that we can look at our children as they go along interacting with internet with, that I thought it's important to share with us, because technology is shaping our children's mind and thinking, their values, what they believe a lot. And so we have to develop that control, whether it's at self level or parental controls where we guide them. But there are red flags that may show you your child is not using technology in a very responsible way. One, if you discover sexually explicit content on their gadget, like a computer that your child uses, that you don't have to meet it with a mallet, but it's something that should bring a conversation so that you offer guidance and teach the right thing. When a child is withdrawing from family, or showing loss of interest in social activities or things they used to enjoy, then it's good to check on that. And when they are spending too much time online, whether it's with a phone or a computer or a PlayStation, it's good to check how much time they are spending. If you enter a room and your child changes the screen quickly or the monitor goes off, ask questions, get curious, be alert so that you're able to help that child. And this is a homework that I wanted to give us as parents, just for you to really think, at least estimate how much time is my child spending on screen time weekly, daily. If you were to keep a weekly log, a monthly log, taking that content, what are the values being caught by your child? What language are they hearing? How much violence is being depicted? Because the time they spend there, that's what they are eating, and they are what they are feeding on. So let's just be alert as parents. The other way to engage is to foster a healthy self-esteem in our children. This is big for all of us because we want to raise confident children, and our positive speaking over them, encouraging them, expressing the good we see. I noticed the effort you made. You had math, you had 50% last time. I noticed you got 52%. That 2%, something, you worked hard. You are acknowledging something tangible for them. Reminding them about their inner dialogue. What are you telling yourself? Why are you talking negative things that bring you down? Reminding them to take care of their thinking habits and their speech. You being an active listener, showing respect to your child. These are some of the ways we foster self-esteem in children, because they realize, oh, I am important, I have value. When you affirm them, when you show affection to them, when you do not show rejection or say words that are harsh, when you accept their mistakes and offer guidance, you're helping them to cultivate a healthy self-concept, which includes a strong self-esteem. And then, of course, there is engaging through modeling. And I have said time and again that more is caught than taught. Children are watching. There is a theorist called Albert Bandura who has developed something called the social learning theory. He talks about how children imitate things, that children learn through observation and imitation. What we do, they copy. And a student will always exceed a mwalimu. If you train them, they will supersede you. So who is teaching your child? What are you teaching them? What are they learning? Character, behavior, choices. Because when there is repeated exposure to, for instance, things like violence, then you will realize your child becomes desensitized. When they are desensitized, they have a thin skin towards other people's needs. They don't empathize as easily. But they are self-absorbed, they are self-entitled, they are thinking about their own needs. So it's important that we think about what are we exposing our children to constantly through even our own modeling. Model integrity in your home. It is Billy Graham who said that when wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. But when character is lost, then all is lost. And we can attest to that just looking around us as a society. So I talked about the value of work and responsibility and self-awareness, emotional regulation to your child. How do you respond to pressure? Your child is watching. Do you get stressed out, hit things, throw things? How do you manage your anger, your angry moments? Anger will come, yes. How do you resolve conflict even as a couple? Or with the people around you, or with your parents? How are you setting boundaries? Because emotional regulation is you teach your child to manage their own emotions and to also understand other people's emotions. That is important. And we do that through modeling. We model a functional home and a functional family when we are living with our children. They are watching how I treat my spouse, how I talk to my spouse. I am demonstrating so much to them, and they will carry it out. So it's important that we model these values: faithfulness, grace, parental relationships with their grandparents, where there is probably things that need reconciliation. It's good to actually let children see that process happen and reconciliation happening so that they can learn we do not have to remain in beef with one another. We can actually reconcile. And I want to warn us about something called a parentified child. A parentified child is a child who has been made to do things or solve problems that are not for his level when you look at his age developmentally. So a parentified child is made to take over duties of a parent, maybe handle emotional stuff, or make decisions at another level, or just sort issues in the home. You know, you are in charge and everything, and sometimes you will find when a family is dysfunctional, there is a child who will actually suffer parentification because they feel like they have to take charge to protect their parent, to be there for their parent, to listen to their parents' issues. Home will affect them at school. So we need to protect these children from that. Somebody wrote a very beautiful comment. There is Michael Peck who wrote a book called The Road Less Traveled, and he said that there is something frequently pathetic about the person who fails to build his family into a loving unit, yet restlessly searches for loving relationships outside the family. So it is important that we invest in a functional family unit. Whether we are a single parent household, whether it's co-parenting, or where both parents are there, you know, or whatever setting it is possible to model functionality. And then, of course, redemptive discipline, where I know we are good at this, starting to discipline our children early, not holding back punishment, but doing it with love so that they learn the lessons. I want to talk about my final way of collaboration, engagement, through collaborating with the school, and to say that the school has a big role to support the parent as well. The school has a role of providing all these things that our children need to spend 6 to 7 hours a day doing, whether it's the studies, the social aspects, the facilities, the programs, the libraries, and the school is the one building confidence in children by treating each of them as an equal, a unique individual. So this is hugely a part of the school. But then it is on us as parents to familiarize ourselves with the school culture. What are the needs in the school? What are the policies? What does the handbook say about how children should dress? What time to come to school? Remember a child who said, I want to get to school on time? You know, we need to know the school needs and policies. We need to help the school when they send out policies, you know, like surveys, to do a research on something, because we are the parents, we are the ones who can make a difference. And we need to make our children aware of the school resources. There's a pool there, there's a library, there's a music room, there's this. Make use of that and grow. There are wellness programs, grow. There's a counseling support. There is a clinic at school. They need to be aware so that they can make use of that. We are to support the school with intention. I love what I see now, that there's a PTA in place, that we have subcommittees parents can actually engage in. We are saying, come volunteer, come participate, give your ideas, give your time, you know, donate your skills. Sometimes it's just even, I can do this. Like I'm here, I am a counseling psychologist, and I felt, yeah, I can talk to parents. So let's do this, come up and let's support each other as we support our children's academic journey. Speak up. Sometimes you need to ask questions. Why is this happening? Or give a solution. The other day we had a back to school night, a coffee night, where we brought parents together and we heard from parents, where are we glowing, do we need to improve, where do we need to change? And it was beautiful to see solutions coming right from the pool of parents and teachers combined. So this is our honors. If it's fees, let's pay dues on time. This is how we can engage to support the school. If it's resources, you know, we have beautiful lawns of grass here that we need to tell the children, don't walk on the grass, you know. There are walking spots, use that. Take care of the computer lab or whatever it is, the library book you brought home, take care of it. This responsible use of resources is another way to engage with the school. And then, of course, there is partnering with the school. There are some things that you get out there and you realize, I need to give feedback to the school about what children are doing when they go to outings, the partying places. Where are your children going? Who are they with? You know? What happens during sleepovers? Are you involved at all? You know? Get engaged. Don't be a person who is not aware. Today, it was last night, I had some kid call and say they want my son to join them this Saturday. And I said, what is going on? And they said, oh, we're going to my friend's house. I said, does your friend's parents know that you're going? So I said, give me the phone number of your mom and I'll talk to her. And there was so much gray So I was telling the children, you can't just plan. Parents must be involved, and parents must talk to parents before they can arrange for you to meet anywhere or go for your play dates. So it is important that we engage at that level and to give school feedback if we notice anything that is of concern, because we are investing in a generation. I am concluding with the following quotes. One is by Mother Teresa, who said that if you want to change the world, just go home and love your family. It's not so much about what we do with the world, but really starting where we are. And Maria Montessori, who said, the greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, the children are now working as if I did not exist. Teacher, I'm not just talking about the teacher in the school, but you, the parent who is a teacher. Can your child say that I know how to do this? My mother has shown me, let me, told me, and now is letting me do it. And I can do it so well that I don't need her to help me anymore. And then when good men do nothing, evil will prevail, as Edmund Burke said. So we are the good parents, and we are to engage, because if we do something, then the right things will prevail. I'm going to stop at that and just say that, I've written a book called Pointing Children to Christ. It's a family devotional. It's available in multiple bookshops around the city. It's also available as a Kindle, on Kindle version on Amazon. I am also available here at Wood Creek School. If you need a copy, you can always talk to me through the reception. My contact is right there on your screen with the cover of the book, which I have authored. And yeah, I think I'm going to stop at that and say that it's been fun just interacting with you at this level. And I want to believe that we have learned something new in our parenting journey. I want to welcome Miss Patricia. Just give back the meeting to her for our time of feedback as parents. And any questions that we might have, please bring them. Or any suggestions and recommendations, we are really open to that. Miss Patricia is going to do that with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lillian. Wow, that's a very, it's been a very engaging session, and we are grateful that Lillian is not just speaking as an expert in terms of being a counseling psychologist. It was a very experiential session. The fact that she's a very engaged parent, and I hope it has been as insightful as it has to me, and maybe even more. But please, I'd like your engagement as well. We are going to send another Mentimeter to just get your feedback from you as parents. So please don't log off. We really are really intentional and being deliberate to be able to offer our children a helpful and a thriving platform. So we'll just send a Mentimeter to just get what you've gotten from this session today. It's just 3 questions. What other topics you would like for us as a mental wellness to be able to engage in? I'm sure each of you has different experiences, and it will be helpful for us to be able to know, because we're looking to partner with different stakeholders, just being able to be aware of the needs that you may be having. And then what other form of engagement you'd like for us to be able to engage in as the parents to these children. So please, the Mentimeter, the code has already been sent, the link has been sent, the code is there on your chat box. So please just click on it so that you're able to get that information, and it should be helpful for us to be able to carry on with conversations, even in different, in other different ways that you bring to our attention. And thank you, Lillian, for bringing out the fact that we can engage as parents. So if you would look to support, or if you would be willing to support in any of the committees that had been earlier mentioned, we have the student and alumni relations, we have the academic and curriculum, we have events and fundraising, and even you want to be part of us in the community welfare, please, you can email the info at Wood Creek, the one that usually sends us our information from the school. Just email your interest and the desire that you'd like to support us, of course, that you can be able to join together. Lillian has already said this is going to be a collaborative journey. We are in collaboration and not in competition in any way. So your feedback, your help, your support would be very helpful for us to be able to move forward for the sake of our children. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them on the chat. Although I can see we have just 7 minutes remaining, But I think of essence is doing the second Mentimeter, which is, will be very helpful for us to be able to carry forward our next sessions. But also feel free to engage with the chat in terms of how the session was for you. Even as we appreciate Lillian, thank you so much. You've done you've done justice to this topic. I have really learned a lot. So I'll allow you a few minutes to engage with feedback that will be very helpful for us moving forward. And thank you so much for staying on, parents. And I know some of us are on YouTube. We really appreciate your staying on and your engagement, even for during the questions that were being asked. We are really grateful. Are you able to log into the Mentimeter? Maybe you can chat. You can give a chat, or if somebody is not able to. Andrew, I see your hand up. Andrew Osodo, do you have something to say? Thank you, Andrew. Maybe for more information, you can email info@woodcreek, then somebody will be able to respond to you. You can express your desire. If you have a question there, we can be able to reply to you. Because I know we have 5 more minutes left. Do not want to go over past 11, but you can just email info@woodcreek with either your question in terms of the engagement or the committee that you'd like to engage in. Thank you for the comments that already came through. I can see people are saying we learn every day. Thank you for your time. Very powerful. I'm grateful. I hope the responses are coming in. Oh, they are. Thank you so much for your responses. I'm not able to see them on my end. Jen, I see your hand is up. Jen Nyotu, you can just unmute if you'd like to speak. Thank you, Jen. I'll just give you 2 more minutes and then we can end the session. And maybe I'll request one parent to volunteer to close for us with Thanksgiving. Maybe Duncan, if you're there, you could close for us with prayers after 2 minutes, but I'll give you the cue. And of course, a special appreciation to our Wood Creek studio team. By the way, we are in Wood Creek studio. That's why we are in all these serious gadgets. We are grateful to the team that has been working tirelessly here. We are here receiving a lot of technical support. We are so, so, so grateful. Yeah, for the ones who did not know that we have a Wood Creek studio, we have one. And I hope the background looks as beautiful as it's looking on our end here. Maybe as people continue to fill in, Duncan, Oma, kindly just. And thank you so much to all the parents, to all the staff, to all the teachers who have joined us. We are so grateful for allowing us to have an interactive time together. And goodbye.